Video 7 is on the parable of the laborers, and this is interpreted by Dr. Peter Hussein. Now, there were laborers in a vineyard who were hired by a householder, and he hired the first set of laborers at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they were to work until 6 o'clock in the evening, and at that time they will be paid. Now the second set of laborers started to work and were hired to work from the third hour, which is 9 o'clock, and they worked until 6 p.m. So they worked really for 9 hours, and when the work was finished at 6 p.m., they were paid their wages. Now the third set of workers worked from 12 noon, that is, at the ninth hour. No, sorry, that would be the 6th hour. And the work finished at 6 p.m. So they started at noon and finished at 6, so they worked for 6 hours. Then they were paid their wages for working in the vineyard, and they were paid at 6 p.m. when the work was stopped. Then the fourth set of laborers were hired at 3 p.m. That would be the 9th hour of the day, and they worked for 3 hours. And at 6 p.m. when the work was stopped, they were paid for their work in this vineyard. And finally, the fifth set of workers who were hired from 5 p.m. and they worked up to 6 p.m. for just 1 hour. And when the work ended at 6 p.m., they also were paid their wages. Now, if you notice, one of the workers, the set of workers, worked on for 12 hours. The second set worked for 9 hours. The third set worked for 6 hours. The fourth set worked for 3 hours. And the fifth set worked for 1 hour. Now, when they were paid, they were all paid the same wages, which is 1 penny. And although they grumbled, the householder said, "Sir, I have the power to do what I want with my vineyard. And furthermore, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first." Meaning, they that work for X hours and they that only work for 1 hour are all equal when it comes to the kingdom of heaven. So you will all be paid, but you will all be paid the same wages, for you have worked in the kingdom of heaven, in the vineyard of the kingdom of heaven. And this now explains why the 5 set of workers, although they worked for different hours, they were all paid the same wages. And again, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first, meaning that all are equal and all are on the same level.